Venus going retrograde, it, it, it is working on me a bit. I make the mistake of not being able to receive. But I don't really want to dwell on that like minute scale of events because my life is getting to a point of urgency, which I don't mind rushing into it and just getting it done. That's kind of like the Aries way because I've spent a lot of my life on social media, and I don't think it is as harmful as the exposure that you're getting with through the EMF waves and how it's actually geared to make you go blind and even to fuck with your ears too. And yeah, the radiation poisoning stuff, I am suffering, and I I'm just praying every day that it can become some better use to us and as well as just all of mankind, right? But for me personally, it's like, no, wait a minute. I think I've been using it pretty much along the lines of the right way to use it, which Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist or whoever enlightened person would tell us that there is a right way to use any kind of communications, really. But see, it doesn't matter. I mean, really, it does, but it doesn't. I mean, if you're going to risk your life and your eyesight and your hearing and your health on something worthwhile, wouldn't it be, and won't you let it be, to try to lead people into something better than, um, like, let's just say, not being able to know that there's a possibility at all that love exists and a whole different way of being that is indeed just perfectly human, like when we talk about having achieved the possibility. See, we don't talk about it enough. Now, there's a lot of talk about, your narcissist and stuff, but now I'm getting back to the subject matter, and I'll try to make this a long one, and I'm going to replace it with the video that I tried to make because that's more like it's a subject matter that I need to just like make a playlist for and go, in case you're interested, there's a playlist over there of things. It's only because I don't know, I think that I should go along the lines of kind of what we're looking in today is like subject matter, which I've just completely lost now. No, but really, it's how shocking that it really is that it's not so much that you're on social media and that's what wastes your life. It's the EMF waves and the exposure to it. See, I don't know what to do. I think that there is a cure for a lot of the problems that they're causing, but not a single doctor will come up with it, right? There's an actual antidote because they can identify, they know what the problem is. The problem is that the fake medical comes from having your fake illness. See, I call it a fake illness because it's a misdiagnosis. It could be like that they're putting something in the bread, they talk about it, right? That could be the glyphosate, but they're calling it the gluten, and that's what's happening with your body. You're having a problem with just a blood sugar thing. It's happening by eating bread. And it's like, no, bread wasn't always like that, and there's something else going on. But then they make up reasons for what it is, and includes the cure, right? And that's dangerous because it's a lot of times it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. And I didn't want to get into this. Originally, I'm trying to get into just a personal subject matter, right? But it's all for us all. Like, how do we do this? How do we know how to let the real thing into us? If it's the real thing, how do we know? What, Shauna? What do you mean? Love, love in your love life. See, are you really dealing with a narcissist there, or are you getting a dance of a reflection of your inability to communicate, or are you, um, what is it? See, now, to me, it's simple, and I can kind of see what's happening, and it's exhausting. That's one of the signs that you know that maybe you shouldn't do that. What's the payoff for having exhausted every bit of your energy and even keeping up the kind of the um, the feeling and the maybe illusion that all of that which you kind of worry about is a burden to you and you only, and like how do you ask for help? And see, there's a whole paradigm of, well, you can call it just dysfunctional people that want you to struggle all the time. It's kind of sadomasochistic. After a while, it's like, well, wait a minute, I've done a lot of work. I think I'm ready for good, wholesome assistance because it's being recognized that I'm in a unique position. I'm really not seeing that. That's, I don't know. It's really easy to find yourself not worthy, especially if you don't fall under the norm, which is, well, okay, so Shauna, do you have any children? Are you struggling with your children? Do you have, a family that you're taking care of? Well, how's your family? Why are we giving you subsidies or anything at all? If you don't have kids, and you're not worried about, were you rendered up just husbandless or without support somehow? It's like, well, yeah, but no, but yeah, but yeah, but no, but you know what I mean? And really, I don't think it should be anybody's business. And this is where social media comes in for me. If people can think with me a bit, how that if you want to like contact something called so-called unconditional, wouldn't it be that social media begins to act that way and says, even though you are contacting people, like we can have a Zoom thing, but see, the thing is you shouldn't really obligate yourself to, like, God, I do though. I feel people's generosity very profound. The first donation I received, it's been difficult. See, this is getting back to the original subject matter that I don't mind taking like 40 or 20 minutes to expose how difficult it can be in general, okay, for people to accept help, accept that you can be helped, accept that the help is there, accept the form that it comes in. Like, now, why can't I feel good about it? Well, I go back to my energy level. Why am I always exhausted? I don't know how to get back. And I think that this is something that we all need to talk about, okay? This is Friday. How do you feel about, in fact, the Mars transit? We're not out of the pressure cooker. In fact, we just took a little tiny break, which is very, very illusory. It's more like we took a hiatus, hopefully. Hopefully you were able to isolate. You find yourself, if not like laid up, but really, no, it doesn't have to be that you had to go to the hospital. You know what I mean? Some people are going through that. And it's because somewhere along the line, they need to nurture themselves better. I'm honestly having to face that. It's really hard to know that it could be just me and me alone that is being so hard on myself that pardon me, that I deprive myself of my own blessings, my own good karma, my own like assistance, whether it be angelic or a person. Now, yeah, it's been that my human associations, I mean, my relationships, all my life. I find it kind of tedious, because you want to. I'm very different than a lot of people. See, I value my alone time because, well, that's how I learned music. I played alone a lot. And I got a relationship with it away from anybody else. Music was my friend. And I remember I was playing well into it, like into when I was 5 years old. But by the time I'm 32 or more, I played for somebody in a place where I used to work. There's a piano in the church next door, and I would go there and play. And I wish I could just get back to that. That's part of the thing that's kind of like, just ignore me over here. That if I don't do that, if I don't play music, I get sick. If I see, I was just thinking, God, if I could just have a nice playing acoustic guitar. There's a kind of a weird story behind why I don't have my nice playing acoustic guitar anymore. I used to have a 1932 Martin cherrywood acoustic guitar. Somebody gave it to me because they just knew that they're like, you got to have this, and and it played well enough, really well. It played me enough really well that I would make recordings over it and just try to keep it as long as I can. But I don't want to talk about what happened to it, you know, because it's other people. Sometimes they don't want you to have anything. And now getting back to, that could be a reason why. It's because like some people you can see, and it's all too easy for somebody like me and everybody really to already have a self-sabotaging streak that already doesn't really allow like the top notch of what you really deserve as your reward for having stuck it through. And well, that's where I am right now. I am so exhausted because I don't know how to just rest right now. I feel I feel like it a lot, but I kind of and with the rest of the I say I am humanity, and I think everybody is at this point that they all need in some place or other like real life, like times out, critical care, go to the therapy, hospital, whatever it is. But why does it have to be so fragmented? We should have a more holistic lifestyle, because why does it get to where that sections of us get completely deprived of something and we don't really fit, and we have to be having like a times out and an emergency, kind of like with what has been happening with me for the past 4 years. That just, oh, wait a minute, I'm realizing that I'm trying to work this thing. I was doing good, but then now it became like, God, and now I feel the same way. It's just a different version of feeling like I have too much on my plate. And again, I think I said it in this movie here, particularly, um, why do I have to feel like it's all a burden when really it's actually a blessing? I want to say, look what it is that I have, that I know for a fact that I can't handle it myself, but I have to invite people in that I can't have them using it against me and manipulating me because I need help. No, can we get past that and say, no, look, I'm offering, see, I want to change enough and I can't do it fast enough because it's really hard to function under what I've been functioning under, as far as when I associate with something that is exhausting my energy, on top of me having been down anyway. And I don't really blame social media as much for as being unhealthy for us, as much as the fact of how that it's geared in many ways, shapes, and form to fucking deteriorate our health. And you wonder, well, when are we going to be able to open up a fucking class action lawsuit? Who's going to be the first one that sues these companies for tuning things in discord to our well-beings? It's not a bad thing to have an opportunity to align our selves in such a way that is like never before. See, we have cameras that says, do you think outer space exists? Do you think reality is here? You get to shine it around. Like, for instance, today, we're not having a winter time anyway, and there were so many chemtrails in the sky that it's really important that we keep just saying, look, we are being poisoned. And here's another thing to think about: the draconians. See, this is a stuck reptilian occupation that is doing this to us. As far as if you're a human being and you're listening to this, hi, hello, we are very rare and far and few between. Hi, Jesus, without you two, you girl, you better just shut up and figure I did some kind of funky sacrifice for you. That's weird. Do you really believe that? No. Oh. Whoever's spraying up there, see, they have managed to create it so that the population is kind of divided, whether or not A sky even exists, which is reality, by the way. I always talk about this, but it is akin to the sky. There's only one sky. There's only one reality behind all reality. Why do I kind of get all mystical like this? It's because this is the thing that you have a problem. This is what narcissists have a problem with. They're an anomaly in reality that kind of you can figure, you can tell that it's like, uh-oh, they're not really like engaged as an awareness, which is a love or a human being. They're kind of like, I'm just a floating. It's a character. They um they practice looking away from you, and it's dehumanizing. I don't know. It could be like troublesome. I mean, I don't know. You don't have see. I would rather have somebody there that is it's hard to explain. But when you realize that people aren't actually watching you, what I mean is they're not there to like intake your being. I'm sorry, but I don't get around much, and when I do, you know what? I'm one of these people that actually kind of knows that we are on a stage here, and we are all performers, and we kind of we are rivers. We are flowing as what? See, that's the question, and we kind of pay attention with interest, maybe. See, some people do not obligate to themselves to that kind of role in a movie. And I say to that, I say to it, I say, why do you have that around? Why do you choose to have like a half-assed presence there? Um, God, I think I'm all over the place here, but it gets back to your own self-love and being able to get into your true north and say, you know what, I don't really, first of all, I don't need people to give me any kind of reflection in order to validate my presence as solid as such that I know it is with my own integrity to know, right? But you don't have to, like in your own home, like if you want somebody to ignore you, just get a cat. I guess sometimes it's that way, right? But I don't know. I've stuck to myself, and I know that when we do engage, be interactive, interact, and when it's weird, it's like you get the feeling that some people just check out and they'll fall asleep on you. I mean, it's not even falling asleep. It's more like just they've turned off. They've died. And you're like, okay, well, now we are disconnected. We're disengaged. I am now doing what I do, even though I'm supposed to be there and kind of hosting for them in my own house. I'm talking about some kind of fucking thing now. It's a phenomenon that kind of disturbs me. And it's like, but babe, we can come to some kind of understanding if we can communicate. Just communicate. And see, now I don't really want to be around people that say, no, I'm stupid. Or my dad used to be this way. He'd say, you know what, I'm a parakeet. I'm just a fucking turd. Or something like that. And you kind of go, now what am I supposed to do? I mean, really, it could be a serious game for some of us who, well, first of all, we know, like, no, don't say that about yourself. Not in front of people. But now getting back to your southerly narcissist, and I'm not saying to just like don't admit or expose every once in a while that, man, I am feeling less than today, but no, see, some people they've just slapped it on. Oh no, this is me, and I'm tired of being hard on myself in such a way that it's not really me. I don't know why it's come up. I can speculate. I do have a history of trauma that comes up, that maybe a lot of it is I can't let go of grief and sadness and guilt or whatever, and it all needs to be let go. I am dealing with it, and I don't know if you can relate with it at this point here on this Friday, right after the new moon. See, I am having an experience over and over again it keeps kind of um, hurting, and I'm almost convinced that it's all me getting in the way of me, just because I have a desire to communicate, and I desire interaction on a deeper level that is like, at least like, boy, ah, it's time for me to be understood. I can't keep doing all the understanding. See, there's a time when you just have to stop pushing that cart and find out who is there to push it. And if there's nobody there, let it fucking fly off the road and goodbye. And just kind of, now what, and what are we arguing about? Why is it such a drain all the time to just be diplomatic and try to communicate something in order to just smooth out rough edges or even disease, or you don't want to stay in the darkness. See, I think that there's a faction of people that you can see that they don't really practice communicating. I'm pretty sure there's a backdrop that is allowed to not only stay in darkness because of the non-communicative disengagement kind of a thing, but it's replaced with fake communications and concerns that in fact turn on your cable TV, watch political parties. Did you get sucked up in the fake Christianity, the fake God system over there? Did you get your education in which that it gives you a career enough that actually protects you in a certain way that is completely opposite? See, I'm looking for protection from a random source. Often on this thing, I'm saying, babes, imagine if the so-called 1,800 people that I feel I have, no, it's there. It says I have altogether, it's like around 19 or 1,800 people. If I count the followers on Facebook, I don't friend everybody, and I've never sent a friend request in my life. I always accept friends requests because I think that they've heard me on a higher vibrational frequency, and I know that I've attracted somebody who likes good writing or just high-minded visionary material, and I know when to friend those people. They're kind of my fans, that my admirers or something, and I like having them there. And see, they don't really communicate much. They just kind of watch and wait. I can tell they're just like, well, what else do you have? And I don't have much else. See, I hit a peak, I put it out, and then I might fall back and say, because I don't know, I have a life. And I go all different spectrums. Anyway, God, you guys, thank you for listening to this. And I am not feeling well. I am feeling so exhausted, and I feel like that this thing just says, well, you're just going to collapse eventually, right? It's like, no, I'm not. Nope. No, I am well protected here, and I can't even begin to explain to you how uncertain I feel altogether. But there's this tiny bit of a light from out of all of that. I feel how that I feel like, God, this passage is so difficult because in 10 years I'm going to be 60. Not that I don't think that I'm not going to be physically able or anything, but see, I feel like that there's a passage right now that says, you're in your prime. You might be able to find a good partner for this next phase that calls for what? See, as far as partnership and whatever is in my life at this time, like supposedly that keeps persisting, that they want to be by my side. I'm like, babes, in order to be by my side, you have to be a valid presence. That means you interact and you can hear me. See, I will go. So I'm an astrologer, and see, I'm on here because you can hear me. I'm trying to get people. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an astrologer, and I'm going through something so difficult, which is the Neptune over my ascendant. It's a spiritual aspect that I don't have any choice. I've tried to talk to you about it here, and I'm not going to be swayed away from this particular call, which is to become the spiritual leader that I am. There are fake spiritual people, leaders, and you can see them on Facebook, and they have tons of followers, and all they do is they regurgitate scripture from the fake God system over there, Christianity, which depicts Jesus as a man And usually, a lot of times, it's the narcissist there that, you know, they have a secret life of abuse that they, not only that they were abused, that they're not, that they themselves are abusive to be around because they're not a valid presence there. There is no one there. They turn off. Literally, it's not that they're just getting rest. No, they have like just shut off because let them. It's like, well, you have to kind of wiggle them. Would you like some water? I'm here to serve you, or something like that. That's not any kind of babes, but that's, I understand that that's like 80% of the Earth's population, men and women who are doing even like say. Now, I want to talk about your marriages. Really, it's kind of dissipating, but there's been like 150 years of this men and women thing, and the man, he's like, he's one of those, like, okay, you know that show Love and Marriage? I guess it's what they call it, Married with Children. I don't mean to pick on the scenario. See, I do think that there's a sacred union that people can have, and you can say that no, we have been. It's not wedlock. It's more like we have been hooked in, and we are responsible for the lineage across the ages ancestrally. Not we're dancing unconsciously, slapping each other over a club, and I'm going to fucking fashion you up as a cookie cut version that's made just for me as a patriarchal. Hi, how are you doing today? How's your Friday today? Whew, this takes a lot of work because, like I said, I'm struggling from having been hit by the weaponry. It was such a fucking amazing thing because I made it to the mountains. I've managed to just like, and it's like, well, no, I can get rid of my TV, but no, it's important to get on social media, right? Well, little did you know that that fucking thing is working with EMF waves that creates like a trauma bond, fucking addiction, like codependent. I'm not kidding, man. Of course, everybody kind of knows this. Hit like and subscribe if you know what I mean. That no, it's well known that they've got it down. It's fascinating to really look at the technology that is there that is already reading your heart rhythms and your body. It goes more than that, babes. Tesla said, no, we can fashion it to where we can hear the mind. A certain frequency will come up if it's a criminal that's thinking of doing something malicious or outside of the law, like bad. Oh, they can zap them with a lightning bolt. And he was not kidding. See, the thing about that is that first of all, most people are criminal minded. The mind itself is criminal. If you consider how it tries to get away with everything, excluding reality being there, that, well, everybody can see what just happened. Now, why are you gaslighting it? It's a possible gaslight if it's just you, them, you, and the wall. You know what I mean? It's like anything goes, and it's like, no, wait a minute. And all the excuses they make um, for not not being able to be present. It's like, oh no, well I had to get to sleep early, or I got to work, or I am this and that. And it's like, no, actually, just can you be present to what just happened? No, actions speak louder. No, well, how did it happen? You blame me now on it only because I was there, the most available presence there. You're fucking checked out, and that's the way they handle you, right? It's like you're the only one there, and it's like, why does that happen? Because it's the truth. If it's a real live anomaly of just a mind there, which is that's the narcissist, it's a fully encapsulated mind, there is nobody there. So you have to kind of swallow that truth pill that says, you know what, I have to move on because this was an interesting kind of interaction with a robot. You don't need to stay locking horns with it because it's like it's a video game that they're plugging in. It doesn't matter if you're giving them love or you're locking horns with them in such a way they don't know the difference. All they know is that they have plugged in and they're getting energy, period. It seems like they would much rather have a discordant kind of connection. You get the feeling that, okay, 80%, 92 now, of the population do not know that, like, genuinely, like that you really don't get along, that you actually really don't harmonize. You really shouldn't be together. You see this in astrology a lot, and it's like, well, why is it so weird that people don't realize that they clash? And they're locked in this, like, it's a movie, and you do talk about a movie, you see it out there. It's a common, like, Hollywood scenario, and it could be between the man and the woman, and they are so, like, she's turned into this dark cat empath or something, and he's like sitting as like he just has to be the devil, right? Who's locked in what? He's like imprisoned in what? He's just, and they are talking like, well, it's just a matter of fact that, well, how do you think I'm going to undermine you? And she's pouring poison in the coffee, and he's like, well, and he's drinking his own coffee now, and it's like, well, and then she pretends like, I don't know, you know what I mean? This weird fucking thing. It's like, you guys, you don't really have to live that way. Where you guys are like tiptoeing around each other, and then, oh, I saw you. You were being yourself the other day with so and so. Yeah, because you guys don't let each other be yourself. Can you fucking please just get the fuck away from each other? Who taught you that you must stay in this awkward fit? For the kids? Oh God, the kids are resenting you for that. They're gonna say, you know what, you don't need to stay together for me, man. You people suck. And so please help me, babes. I do suffer from ailments from having. I've talked about it before. And it is so. It's so. I don't take it on personally. Humanity has a big problem, and we're gonna see. You know, a lot of people already succumbed to the effects of having their brains invaded by the EMF waves. Somebody like me just sees it and kind of, I'm going to continue to communicate some things. I'm saying, no, look, I found this. And you're just going to see me kind of squinting more because my eyesight is going out. And who knows? I need prosthetics or something that will help me. You know, we all need something like that because we've been hit and we are injured. And you see, I'm somebody who's just saying, no, we can't let it affect us too bad. I'm going to still communicate. I still love myself. I still have this sense of like, you know what, I'm getting it, you know, and I'm seeing it. It's so tough. It's my one and only thing, whatever it is. If I see the passageway that will help me, that ends in me, like as the result, see, I'm supposed to build a legacy off of what I have here. You know, I'm supposed to really do something impactful with what I have to work with here. Now, when I'm talking about what I have to work with, how I how I how I stuck it out on this land. I stayed out of getting lost in a relationship. Maybe I should have not done that, but it just happened that I stayed hermited. I don't know. I mean, you know, to tell you the truth, people, if you're not informed about this, talk about now what your money is supposed to be doing. I mean, it kind of, women use it to fucking protect themselves. If they had enough, babe, they would have nothing to do with men. Comment section down below. Do you agree? Why? Maybe because you're not ready to get into it with them, and you don't know that, well, there's a lot of work to be done, and but how do you get around that soul journey and make it pure without the mixture of like finances getting wrapped up in it, right? In your needs and all that. Like, can you just, oh, no, I'm intact, and no, but now you want to do something. Dance? What do you want to do? See, some people, now it's 80%, 92%. It's very interesting to look at this, and they don't even know this. You guys are practicing bondage. Now, I'm going to close it up. If you're a man watching this, you might want to consider your programming. Are you the kind of person that, you could be kind of insecure, first of all, and then you're afraid of secure women. I don't want to get into this, babes. I've talked about it before, but the scenario does already come up. And I don't like it. I've steered clear of this scenario where it's like, oh God, these people get like, they're just butting heads or they're locking horns or something. And then people, I'm sorry, babes, I am not willing. I'm exhausted just kind of touching it a little bit. All these issues and all this stuff, all the karma and all the programming and all the hoopla. I think I've talked about it before. It's like, it's kind of like, babes, now. And how do I get paid? Well, I do. I get paid. And the way of the universe saying, look, this is your reward. Now, I'm at this point where, see, with all of the injury I have sustained, can I receive the reward for having stuck it through in the name of love? And that is just what I know about love. How I know how to stick it through and do that work. See, with no communications at all, I have to get this done? I doubt it. See, if there's no communications at all, I'm getting stuck into a dark trap. And I have to decide, why am I deciding to do anything at all with this? Is it pure ego that's going to continue to wall itself off and say, I did it and you can't reach me, and watch out for that. I don't want that. I'm feeling just a matter of time, and I hope that I can get the right, real support, which is just a little bit. I want a little bit to trickle in so that we can get through this. There's a pressure cooker, babes. I'm asking the people right now in my life who have the early Taurus and early Taurus, those fucking Tauruses are going through hell of a fucking karma with the early Pluto. And I'm just saying, no, not this time. When Mars goes back into Leo and squares you people, you do not come and hound me or bully me around or sit on me energetically, because you don't know how to change and you don't know what to do with it. The fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, have the hardest time with transformational periods and the time that you have to change. And Taurus has been having to do it like big time. That's the part of the organism, I admit, it's the feminine side, but really she needs to pick herself up. She needs to pick herself and dust herself off and say, my value is this, and blah, blah, blah. It's been a kind of a forceful thing. It's been a kind of an unpredictable thing. You can kind of see it already. I mean, did you choose to do the right thing? What the call is to slow down. Smell the roses. Enjoy your coffee. Look at each other in the eyes and go, what we bring to the table that amounts in true wealth. Aren't you excited about the future, and start to communicate that? That's relationship. That's love. It's not just you're quiet and you ignore each other and there are jobs to do because you ignore my job, and then everybody's so disrespectful. It's like, would you please? You people need fucking rehabilitating, and stop picking on the people that are getting sick around you, thinking that they need to be rehabilitated and fucking integrated into this profoundly sick fucking society. Hi, please support me. Just $5 would do. Imagine what would happen for you if 500 people sent you $20. Do the math.